In 2022, Prime Minister Mia Amor Mottley launched the Bridgetown Initiative with one simple mission: to reform the global financial system so that developing countries can meet both their climate and development goals. Since its inception, the Bridgetown Initiative has made notable progress, including catalyzed inclusion of debt pause clauses in development loans, supported the rechanneling of $100 billion in special drawing rights to IMF trusts, and pressing the World Bank and IMF to lower their equity-to-loan ratio, expected to unlock $30 billion in lending. Building on this, the third iteration of Bridgetown, Bridgetown 3.0, sets out a reform agenda across three key pillars.
1. We must change the rules of the international financial system and reform its governance and instruments. 2. We must shock-proof vulnerable economies by dealing with debt and liquidity in a comprehensive, development-focused manner. And if we need to give countries a shot of liquidity like we give them a shot of adrenaline to avoid them falling off the cliff of debt, then we must do so. And thirdly, we must augment financing by boosting country capacity to invest in resilience by several means, including what has been announced already, the rechanneling of special drawing rights through our multilateral development partners, but that will only be truly effective if there is another issuance of SDRs in the near future.
From the 16 action areas set out in Bridgetown 3.0, we have prioritized 5 this year. Firstly, we need to evolve growth and debt frameworks. Today's macro-fiscal frameworks, such as the IMF and World Bank's Low-Income Countries Debt Sustainability Framework, fails to account for the economic returns that resilience investments deliver. A seawall that protects a city, drought-resistant crops that sustain harvests. These investments safeguard GDP and revenues, yet remain invisible in these models. These macro-fiscal frameworks need to integrate resilience investments into their methodologies. Secondly, we must scale prearranged finance, funding that is secured before disasters and released immediately when they occur. By 2035, at least 20% of global crisis finance must be prearranged, ensuring that funds are more predictable and delivered both faster and at scale. Thirdly, we need to leverage insurance. Insurance should be viewed as a core part of our economic infrastructure. By transferring risk, it helps lower the cost of capital and stabilizes budgets from climate shocks. If scaled properly, it could unlock up to $200 billion a year in climate finance. Fourthly, we need to scale commercial debt swaps. By replacing expensive debt owed to private creditors with more affordable finance, it unlocks resources for investing in national priorities, such as water and sanitation, renewable energy, education, or protecting nature. And most importantly, it doesn't add to net debt burdens. And fifthly, we need to expand local currency finance. Emerging markets hold $17 trillion in domestic savings, yet too little flows into national priorities. Expanding local currency instruments will enable countries to channel greater investment into building climate resilience, while reducing dependency on volatile foreign borrowing. But will these reforms really deliver the outcomes we're aiming for? Success stories around the world show they can. In Grenada, comprehensive insurance coverage secured $55.6 million in payouts after Hurricane Beryl, while St. Vincent and the Grenadines limited coverage resulted in only $1.9 million, despite both countries losing significant amounts of their GDP. In Barbados, the country's latest debt swap unlocked $125 million from a $300 million deal, funding a new water treatment and irrigation project. And in Indonesia, in collaboration with the Asian Development Bank, the government converted over $3 billion of sovereign loans denominated in US dollars and Japanese yen to Indonesian rupiah, reducing forex exposure. These successes show our proposed reforms are within reach, but scaling them will take collective will. To find out more, visit bridgetown-initiative.org.